Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Lions League Season 3. Today, we've got the RLC versus the Infantry, and this is a very, very important match for the Infantry here. This is their sort of last chance redemption match here if they want to still stand a chance in the running of things. They're currently down 0-6 in terms of maps and subsequently 0-3 in terms of games. They had an incredibly close fight on Vertigo up against the Royal Artillery last week. They got so close, but it was a 16-14 finish for the Royal Artillery. Just could not quite close it out despite the best efforts of RDM and Keeney. So tantalizingly close, and that is probably the reason that the RLC have banned Vertigo today. So we won't be able to see the Infantry back on their home turf, on their best map, and well, it's nice to see some refreshing maps in the pool. So today we're going to be looking at Dust 2, Inferno, and Mirage. Infantry have gone out and picked Dust 2, and I think this is the first time we've seen this map broadcasted on the entirety of Season 3. And Inferno is another one we haven't seen too much of because it is just one of those incredibly difficult to master maps. So we've got Inferno on the board as well. And for our final map of the day, we once again have Mirage. So that's lovely stuff. The ban of Nuke coming in from the Infantry, that's perfectly understandable. They struggled on it last week against none other than the Royal Artillery. Unfortunately, Keeney's, I believe, keyboard disconnected on multiple occasions, which meant that he wasn't able to play properly for rounds 3 to 6 or 3 to 7. And that really came back to bite him, as he was their top performer when he eventually came back into the server. And despite being able to put up, I believe it was 6 rounds or 5 rounds on their T-half, their CT half was already out the window, only picking up a single round. And that's obviously just not enough in a circumstance such as this. But before I keep going into detail about the maps, today's lineups for the Infantry. It is Keeney, Innovation, Swede, RDM, and probably Drunkish. The full roster from last week making a return. And on the side of the RLC, we've got Fenris, Pom-Pom, Unique Ye, I think, or Unique J. I'll have to look up the pronunciation of that one. I have just been informed that his pronunciation is Big, which makes very little sense to me. But thank you, producer Alex from the skies above. And we also have Davies and Peaks. So that is Big, Davies, and Peaks to round out the RLC roster. And I've already talked over how this is like a must win for the Infantry, but at the same time, if the RLC win this, then they are technically in top three contention, and that's where you want to be at this stage of the season. It gives you a great chance as you move on. As we, well, quite noticeably, Bush Gunner is not in the lineup today for the RLC, which is a I'm not going to say worrying just yet because I haven't really seen this team play together. But obviously, it's very, very difficult. As I said already, unfortunately, due to current circumstances, they are constantly having to swap out one of their players. So Bush Gunner is being replaced by, I believe it is Big. So we do have Fenris, we do have Pom Pom, Davies, and Pete's at the standard roster, but their fifth man is constantly just in flux. And I think Davies was originally a substitute as well, right back at the very start of the season. So they have been marred by unfortunate roster changes due to, I believe it's the coronavirus pandemic response. People keep getting called out to deal with that, which is obviously far more important than the Lions League. We wish everyone the best of luck and hope they all stay safe whilst they're out doing that instead of playing here with us in the league. But I don't want to be a dampener for the RLC, but obviously it's going to be very difficult without one of their usual top three performers, especially because they're sort of bringing in another person so late in the game. That means they're going to be less fluent in their strategies, perhaps less able at fragging, because Bush Gunner was certainly one of those reliable figures for the RLC here. For the majority of maps, he would show up, versatile AWPer and rifler, and he's come a long way since Season 2. Massive improvements to himself and his gameplay. Very enjoyable player to watch as well. And it's definitely going to be a challenge without him for the RLC here. And that gives Infantry a slight advantage, as they are sticking with the same roster I think they've had all the way through. And if they're able to pull at least one map out the bag, then at least they're off of the ground zero, finally bagging themselves a map. And I think Dust 2 would be a pretty reasonable map to do that on. I'm not sure how proficient the RLC are on Dust 2. I'm going to say that they're decent at it, but definitely nothing amazing, as I've not seen them pick it before, and it's usually banned second by them. So yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see how that one pans out. We will be getting into the gameplay in just a moment, waiting for a couple more players to join onto the server. That shouldn't take too long. In the meantime, as always, we've got some very handy smoke tutorials up on the right-hand side of your screen here. Hopefully, actually, on the topic of smokes, thank you to those videos for reminding me. Dust 2 and Inferno especially are incredibly util-heavy maps. In fact, I take that back for Dust 2, but Inferno is an incredibly utility-heavy map. And something we've seen from the Infantry is that they have not been great with their utility usage, whether it be taking a site or in the post plant or defending a site. There's always something lacking. It always feels like there's a missing piece when it comes to the Infantry's utility, and that might be because they have inexperienced players. I learned after last week that probably Drunkish is only silver, so for him to even be, putting numbers on the board in a match against, I believe, somewhere around Supreme LE mark, it's impressive that he managed to find any kills at all, really, in the Vertigo matchup. And whilst it's all well and good getting a couple of kills, you also need to learn all the smoke lineups. You need to improve your game sense. There's a lot of things that go into a cohesive team, and it's very hard to get this in the silver rank. So what can I say? It's impressive he's trying, and hopefully that'll be able to continue. Another thing on that front, as I was already saying, the utility for the Infantry, a little bit hit or miss. Dust 2, you do also need utility. Of course, you need utility on every map, but it's especially important on the B bomb site. You've got to nail those flashbangs. Obviously, it's relatively difficult for even some more experienced players to land the flashbang that goes through the roof of upper B on Dust 2. Throw those consecutively whilst running. And also, I can't imagine many of these players have jump binds, because I know some of them don't even know what that is. And it's incredibly hard to throw some of these flashbangs, some of these smokes, nades, molotovs, whatever you want, without a jump bind. That could also hinder their performance here. And as I said, with probably Drunkish being silver, I don't know whether he has one bound or not. Hopefully his team has been able to deal with that, get him stilted out with one of those before the game. I mean, I personally have my one bound to C. I love a little running jump with my smoke grenades on Inferno. And without already spamming in the chat, Fenris MVP. Fenris, in the absence of Bush Gunner, is, I'm assuming, going to be going back to the IGL role. That's another important factor there. Yeah, Bush Gunner is gone. That's the IGL of the team. Wiped from the planet. Well, I say wiped from the planet. That sounds a bit morbid. He's out of the server for the time being. And yeah, losing your IGL, as you can see in professional Counter-Strike, is always a mess. I mean, look how long it took for FaZe Clan, for example, to recover without Nico IGLing for them. They went to a massive slump until Carrigan finally got back, and Olaf is a different breed. He played incredibly well for his last tournament of his FaZe Clan career. But enough of professional CS. Looking back towards Lions League, it's going to be very difficult for them without their chosen IGL. And it's, obviously, Fenris has done it before, so he's not completely inexperienced, and they no doubt will be using similar strategies. And I know Fenris is a stickler for getting everything absolutely perfect, so no doubt the team is well rehearsed under his lead as well. But it's always one of those things that puts you at a disadvantage. A last-minute change, a loss of a very key player and fragger, it's something that will hinder their performance. I feel like it will today. What else? Oh, yeah, also, a bright side for the RLC. Fenris has bought himself a gorgeous 240 hertz curved monitor. Yeah, you have to remember that it is curved, ladies and gents. So hopefully he will actually be able to hit something today, unlike past weeks. And my producer already creasing in his chair from the skies above. Fenris, it's all love from us. I'm sure you'll do great today. And well, it's good that he has a monitor that actually works. It always tends to help when you're playing a game such as CSGO. And, you know, the refresh rate can make all the difference, especially if you go from 60 hertz to anything else. I remember playing on my 60 hertz 16-inch monitor. It was an absolute nightmare. 8.5 years playing on that bad boy was fun, to say the least. But enough of my tragic life story. We are going to be getting straight into the pistol round here on Dust 2, and it will be Hill to find the first kill on 2 Peaks. And Innovation finds one onto Fenris. Now the rush down A-long coming in full storm. Pom-Pom only on 9 points of health as he reloads inside the smoke. Keeney gunning him down, and it's a 2 versus 5 for the retake. Oh my goodness me! Almost a flawless round, but I'm not entirely sure who RVR is. He will be taking down RDM. And I have just been informed that RVR is big. And Hill is Swede. Not Swede. Who is Hill? Hill is somebody. Hill is probably drunkish, I believe. So I will be referring to them as Hill and RVR, just because it's easier for me. Anyway, 1-0 to the RLC here, and a monstrous attempt to take it the side, but Davies and Fenris. USP's coming in storm. Fenris almost takes down another one. Down to the 2v1 here, and it's going to be the USP stack on B coming out on top. That is a beautiful round for the Infantry and a tragic loss for the RLC. Yes, wait, hold on. The overlay is the wrong way around as well, ladies and gents. That will be flipped over in just one moment. Apologies for that. I'm confusing myself here. There we go. RLC are on the CT side. The Infantry are on the T side. This is their map pick, and a great round from the RLC there, as I said originally. All right, enough of the mishaps now. I think I've got everything figured out. And now we're on into round number 3. What's going to happen here? Early mid presence from the T side, but they're all on pistols. 1 Deagle, 1 Glock, 3 P250s. Will they be able to get anything done against the rifles? And they do great damage to Pom-Pom. He's going to be forced off with that angle there. Fenris finding Swede with a nice headshot on the A1S as well. Now a 5 versus 3, and damage control is coming in. Fenris allows himself to get dinked. Bit of a rocky spray from him there, aiming for the feet rather than the head. But RVR in mid, decapitating RDM, means it's just Keeney who has found the frag onto RVR, but is swiftly removed by Peaks, and that's a second round on the board for the CT side. Fresh OJ, I agree. I believe this will be a fantastic matchup, as I wouldn't quite put these at the identical skill level, but the disadvantages the RLC have coming into today certainly makes this a far more entertaining matchup. And again, that's not me slagging off the Infantry, it's just they have struggled with form sincerely throughout this season. So this would be their first map win, should they be able to take Dust 2 here. Innovation now making his way onto this A bomb site here, peeking out slowly to start, and if he pushes now, he will have outflanked the RLC on a long, but he bides his time, but a three-man swing coming out now. Look at the grenade! Oh, it's gorgeous! And, oh, peeks, a great headshot. Swede, very swift with the trade there. RVR peeking around the corner with a double on the MP9, and this take has been absolutely decimated. Peeking around with the MP9 once again. RDM, lovely shot on the Glock nonetheless. Bit of a messy Molotov, but he will have the bomb, and he will have another kill onto Pom Pom. This gives him ample opportunity to plant, but he doesn't have any utility for this post-plant. Oh, the grenade from Davies. It's gorgeous. Divine, some might say, and that's a 3-1 scoreline for the RLC on their CT side as the Infantry struggle on their map pick. RVR, I have been informed, also goes by Big and Unique. No idea how to pronounce Unique, but I've been informed that RVR is pronounced River. I'll be sure to. Oh, great shot from Pom Pom whilst I'm talking about names. Fantastic stuff. Swede spotted in top mid as well, but the AWP wisely falling off so he doesn't get crossfired by the pistols. And what a stellar AWP he has, I must say. A boom with the Fnatic Katowice 2014 sticker. Yeah, as I was saying, I'll be sure to tell off the RLC for submitting the wrong name to me. And Pom Pom dishing out his own punishment as Keeney loses his face to a wonderful shot from the AWP. Now a 5 versus 3 situation. CTs have every advantage here. It's again just pistols with one scout, and Pom Pom does not miss a trick here. Now the 2v5, and Pom Pom could potentially be on for the ace here. M4's aggressing into middle, a wall banging on in, but nothing too severe towards the T side. Pom Pom, though, may get some toes to tickle with this AWP. Apologies for the little bit of lag there, ladies and gentlemen. But Fenris will find Hill, and River mops up the final pistol player. That will be Innovation, and that's a scout remove. But a full buy will finally be able to come through for the Infantry here. And as we come into round number 6, it is our first full buy round. No AWP for the Infantry just yet, despite the fact they were able to afford one. And a mysterious lack of infantry on Hill, despite having 2k left in the bank. Fenris spots the first man, and that's double smoke, but he's spamming on down through it. Takes RDM to 28 health and Keeney to 69. Still a 5v5, but the health advantage certainly swayed in favour of the RLC, but I take that back as Peaks goes down, peeking a little bit too aggressively there through the edge of the smoke, and now Fenris has a lot to do, and it's not going to be enough. This raid-out instantly, well, quelled as RDM almost a jumping headshot onto Fenris there with the AK-47, and the retake can come in here, but it will be a difficult task, especially now RDM has seen the AWPer knocking him down to 60, make that 35 as he just about escapes with his life. Aggression in short. But River finds Innovation. Hill to find Pom, and that's the AWPer remove CT and grab that AWP. River and Davies find one each. They're looking for more. Missed the smoke on the bomb. That's going to be a very tragic mistake for them. It is down to the 1 versus 1, but there's not enough time on the clock, or is there? Swede missing every shot! Oh my goodness me! The RLC will be taking their 5th on the board, and Swede will be left standing there in disbelief. As I said, apologies for the slight lag here, ladies and gentlemen. Internet has been very slow on both mine and my producer's ends recently. But thankfully that is not an issue inside the server, so the players will not be experiencing any problems themselves. So it is still an all-fair game here. Well, I say all-fair game, but that last round was an absolute steal from the RLC. A 2 versus 4 Pom Pom, what a great nade. Messes up onto Keeney, though, and that will be his undoing. But I got to keep my eye out for Davies here today. That was a fantastic play from him, and River too. Fenris, saucy shot onto Swede there. And a nade to follow up, and the nade won't do much. RDM finally finding a trade, and that's Davies going down. Keeney making some aggressive plays here, and peaks down to 14. Make that 0. He's removed from elevator, and Keeney Keeney removed from Carr. Fenris, a great headshot from the A1S there. 2 versus 2 situation once again. Infantry have the possibility to make this work, but it's going to take some gusto. RDM already on the bomb site, but again, there's no utility for the infantry side here. They're pre-firing Fenris's spot, and they force him out into the open with a fake plant. Excellent play by RDM. 2v1 now, and down goes River to Hill. Second on the board for the infantry, and a well-deserved one at that. Impressive in the 2v2. Money starting to get tight for the CT side here. Despite their run of round wins, they have always had to invest into at least 3 players. RDM in top mid is going to see 1 player, and I don't know how Pom Pom survives that. 6 HP left on him. He's going to have to be very careful for the rest of this round now. And brilliant play there from River, and Davies farming on that B bomb site as they walk out the tunnel. Not a single point of damage done towards River either. And River jumping in through window, gonna find the bomb planter just a second too late. Unfortunately, ducks down in the wrong place, allows himself to be taken out by Hill. But Peaks and Fenris find one each. RDM only finding 1. It's not going to be enough. And that's a 6th on the ball for the RLC. They're hungry for this dust to win. And despite the lack of their IGL, River has been a fantastic replacement. 11 and 6. This man is on fire. I can't believe I've not seen this man on the server before, because he is far outperforming everybody else on the RLC side for the time being. Fenris on a 2KD himself. That 240Hz monitor must be doing a treat for the man. But it's Hill with the auto sniper to entry onto Pom Pom down mid, and he's looking for more. Runs out of ammo, forces him to reload as another player crosses over towards B. I think they have received that info, but oh my goodness sweet, finding Fenris. Now River needs a pick in middle here if they want to have a say in the rest of the round. And they can't lose another man to Swede here. Great shot from Peaks, keeps things in competition. 4 versus 3 situation for the aggressing T side. Peaks though in a very tight spot. I don't quite understand what he's doing here. And Hill with the auto sniper will remove him from the site. And now the plant can come in with relative ease. Davies and RVR, River, my apologies. Last 2 in the server have already won themselves a 2 versus 4. It looks as if they might be grouping up here, potentially going for this. But time is ticking down, and they are, well, they're waiting very patiently for T-Aggression. And if Keeney gets a little bit overzealous here, there's the possibility he gets wiped clean from the face of the server. He is peeking around these corners. And the angle's being watched, and Davies gets gifted a freebie there. That's an AK they can pick up if they so choose to do so. Going to be 6-3 on the board here, but Infantry giving away frags that need not be given away. RDM holding double doors, though, ensuring that that AK is not picked up, and a decent... In fact, no, it's a great third round on the board from the Infantry. 3 left alive, finding a pick through double doors at the very beginning with Hill on the auto sniper. I personally despise that gun with all my being, but I have to confess that they have indeed used it well. And it looks like there's going to be more havoc from the auto sniper as Pom Pom finds RDM. A great shot from him. And he escapes the prying eyes of the auto sniper. Swede trading one back, though. He was pretty nifty on the AWP in the last matchup against the Royal Artillery, as we saw on both Nuke and the start of Vertigo. Pom Pom, though, keeping his eye on the pit, and Swede sees the head, but Pom Pom has the angle held on lockdown. 4 versus 3 here, and the RLC looking to put their 7th on the board. And Pom Pom spies another, misses 2 crucial shots, and allows himself to go down to Keeney. Now, as we go to the 3 versus 3, Davies, what a shot through the smoke onto Hill. 2v3 now, and the RLC are 100% going to be going for this. They hear a man in short. The grenade comes over towards the site, but it won't do any damage. Innovation got the angle held tight, and Keeney swings at play from him. 2 versus 2 now, and the superior weaponry and the advantage now held by the infantry. Innovation finding River, and Peaks alone with a scout. I doubt he'll be able to do too much here, and neither does he, so he'll be running on over to the B-bomb site, saving over nothing more than a scout and a defuse kit. Not the best thing to be saving over, but it's better than nothing, I suppose. And the 2v1 will also result in a hunt coming through from the infantry here. If they manage to find Peaks, it will be a vital weapon saved over. I'm not entirely sure why he decides to throw it away there. But there we have it, a 4th round on the board for the infantry, and our first match pause coming on through. I believe this one is a tactical timeout. And Fresh OJ, you may love the disrespect on the auto, but goodness me, it pains my poor eyes. I've had so many scarring experiences with the G3 SG1 in the past. Some of them very unhappy memories from Lions League Season 2. Oh, and the absolute fiasco we had in the Help for Heroes Cup. That gosh darn weapon. All I can think of is the that damn smile meme every time I see someone with the auto sniper. But as the tactical timeout comes to an end, it will be the RLC on a very, very rocky bye here. Nothing more than scraps of utility, finally some armor and pistols layering the way. And already Fenris uses his USP, my apologies, uses his smoke to fake the mid-cross, and that is, well, that's an important fake smoke, to be honest. It gives up no information as to how many across to be, and of course the answer will be 0, as so many players are pushed up long here. Swede giving away a lot of info that he is indeed short, but Fenris is not looking down the floor, so his head is easily on display. Scout doing his best to hold short, but Innovation gets gifted that one. Nice spray control as well as Swede rams a 7.62 into the skull of Davies, and this 2 versus 5 is not looking particularly promising. They've done wonders with the USPs before, but this time won't be one of them. Innovation also removing Pom Pom means it's down to River in a 1v5, and a Deagle is all he's got to do it with. He's heard a couple here, and now he's being swung by Innovation. That's a great freebie for him. He's not going to check pit. That's a foolish mistake, but thankfully a foolish miss from Keeney as well. He does not miss the second time, though, and that's all she wrote for round number 11. And as we ease ourselves into the second part of the first half, RLC have now lost their 4-round lead and are only leading by 1. Infantry looking to equalise here in round number 12, and they have a strong chance of doing it again. Only pistols for the RLC. It is such a nightmare when you lose or start to lose economy on the CT side of a map like Dust 2 or Inferno, the next map, as both of them rely a lot on very key utility, especially Inferno, no doubt about that. But Davies coming out of nowhere, flanking the flank. Gets a wonderful 1 dig onto Swede. Innovation now attempting to push through this Molotov. Will he be able to find Davies here? Nobody will. C2 coming through CT. Another smoke drop down for the double doors. And the post plant is in session. Great damage done by Fenris. I'm not sure where that kill came in. It would have been upper tunnels. AK reigning triumphant, picked up off of the body of a fallen T. River finds Innovation, but 2 trays come through thick and fast. Fenris finds Artie Evans. All down to Keeney. Keeney will get dropped. And the 2 versus 1 comes into fruition. It looks like this defuse will come in just a nick of time. No defuse kit on the player of Pom Pom, but there we have it, ladies and gents. 7-5 scoreline for the RLC. They had nothing but Deagles and a tad of utility, but they get the job done, and the infantry are the ones going to be kicking themselves this round. And to my producer, is it alright if you re-enable the minimap? I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but the minimap is no longer on the HUD. Ladies and gents, the minimap will be back up in just a moment. The HUD is having a couple of glimmers, but there we go. HUD is back up, so we can see what's going on here. Hill following in Shuggy's footsteps. He is indeed. And now, a lovely off angle here from Fenris, waiting for that flash in. He hears multiple players on short, though. I'd say that's a wise decision to fall off. The 1v3 would have been very difficult to recover from. Instantly traded either way. Innovation, though. Ruined by a Molotov and finished off by the A1S through the edge of that sandy wall there. And the man advantage over towards the RLC. Peaks now, flashing over in towards short. And that's a brilliant flashbang, but there's no swing to follow up. So none of the three players around the short area are going to be particularly endangered by that. Oh, sweet, good lord. Fenris getting absolutely obliterated by that one tap. And Swede has seen two now. Wisely opts to crouch here. Bikini does not, and that's Pom Pom gifted one. Oh, and the second one, the follow-up onto Swede was golden, and a very crucial frag on the A-bomb site defense there. Davey finding Heal as well. And Davies is doing far better than we have previously seen him. So he's clearly been putting in the practice hours. Great stuff for him. Last player alive now, RDM. Does not have the bomb. Bomb is in CT and being carefully watched over by Peaks, who's now seen the AWPer come in. Narrowly avoids getting shot down himself. And it looks like RDM will be running down long to save. Only 5 seconds left on the clock. And I'd say these CTs would want to hunt this. They've got money on Pom Pom and Fenris for the next round. And thanks to the win streak with minimal losses now, they are going to be able to afford into this round. And saved over. And this will enable a sort of force buy here from the Infantry. I can imagine Keeney will be buying into this one. It doesn't look like it, though. It's a MP5, Mac 10, and an AWP. A very curious buy, and there's still money on some of the other players. But I can see why they don't fully invest into this one. It is round number 14. They want to save something for that final round. Swede foolishly walks into that Molotov, though. Already down to 68 with a full long take. Is going to be desecrated by Fenris and Pom Pom. Keeney going down low as well as he gets legged on the cross. But as soon as I said the push was desecrated, they do actually take bomb site control. River. Oh, it's a gorgeous shot from him, though, onto Keeney. Already low, but just for added satisfaction, the headshot comes in. And there we have it. River and Davies cleaning up shop once again, the dynamic duo. And the bomb defusal will come in. That's a 9-5 scoreline now to the RLC on their opponent's map pick. Very promising signs so far. And I'd say Dust 2 is pretty even in terms of how CT or T-sided the map is. In fact, I'd say arguably it's a little bit easier on the T side. The fact that getting away is very, very tough. Again for a couple of leg spikes. It will be Sweden Innovation to open up with 2 from them. 5v3 as we go into the last round of the half. But River. Oh, River, baby! Cry me a River Infantry, as that was a god-tier play from the AWP on the B-bomb. So he's going to find another one. Oh, he almost finds a fourth. 2 versus 2 now in the last round of the half. This is going to be a very interesting retake scenario. Flashbang through the double doors. Peaks tickled with blindness. It's not a phrase I ever thought I'd be saying. That's the only way to describe the effect of that flashbang. A bit of a waste, if I'm honest. But Hill with a grenade, that should do some damage. And that it will, but the blinded Fenris finds the first. Hill is low. He's going to find Peaks. Fenris has a lot to do, but it's the grenade! The grenade from Fenris means he survives with only 3 points of health. And that's a 10th round on the board to the RLC. They find double digits on their CT side, and what a hero play there from Fenris. River, you madman. An incredible display of AWP prowess from the man. And Fenris to wrap things up against all odds. Great utility damage from River as well. 217. Not a single player going positive on the infantry side either. There's one with an even KD. That will be Swede, the primary AWP player. 112 ADR on Fenris as well. He's having a monster game. It says 98 on River. Fen doing all the damage necessary for his team to clean up. And that's what you want to see from an IGL. It will be an RLC rush towards this A bomb site now. They aren't going to check lower tunnels, but he's going to get a lot of info here. So the full rotation comes in thick and fast early on. Hill picked by the Glocks as they run out. Short innovation as well, but it is the CTs to find the first frag. Fenris finds Keeney, and it is a flurry of frags here on the A bomb site. 3 versus 2 in the post plant. Both players coming in from short now. River swings out wide. Confidence in this man is evident. But he only gets one onto RDM. Swede in the 1v2 now. Still a perfectly winnable scenario. But he taps away at Carr. Misses a lot of shots, Swede. That's a brilliant headshot to Pom Pom Davies. Widely adjusted position. Almost giving up his head there. And it will be Swede with the 3 kills and a 1v2 clutch to find the infantry there 6th round. That pistol round was given to the RLC, but River, far too cocky, pushes up short, no trade potential, and he will go down. A stellar round there from Swede puts him in a good position to fight for the rest of the game. And with a 10-6 scoreline, especially on a map like Dust 2, anything can happen as we head into this second half. Going to be a full force from both teams here in the Mach 10 madness coming towards B. It's going to start well, but Swede instantly trading. River and Swede both finding one each. And Swede is still a menace. He's still alive. 2 frags to his name, and look at this. 3 players waltzing in through middle. I don't know why Peak swings this. He was so low health, but Pom Pom, that's such an important frag for him to find. Davies last man alive in the 1v2. He's going to get double swung. He isn't able to do enough. Swede is a monster in this second half. Already on 5 frags in 2 rounds. Nets himself a defuse as well. Already the MVP of the second half. Swede keeping the hopes and dreams of the infantry alive as they want to bag themselves their first map of the entire tournament here on Dust 2 against none other than the RLC. Joint 4th place currently with the Remy squad, I believe it is. I believe the RLC were actually ones to defeat Remy. So they are currently one of 2 teams yet to face or yet to finish a series against the infantry so far. Flashbang over the top from Fenris, so we'll have a full blinded Keeney. Not able to finish off the fire fast enough. Davies helping out Fenris as they get a double entry in mid, but RDM in the backlines now could be a mitigating factor. Davies, though, finds innovation. 4v2 in the post plant. Every single one of these T's is in dire straits in terms of health. So this is still a winnable retake, but they would have to do it now, and they would have to do it very, very skillfully. No utility either to soften up the players even further. And Davies, that's such a key frag from him. I think RDM will want to just save this one here, and that he will. Running back off to T-Spawn. Top mid T-Spawn. There is very little hope for him in this round now. He might be able to find an exit as they rush up mid, and that would be valiant at least. But for them to lose such a low investment round from the RLC is a disappointing measure for them. And he misses the cross as well. If he peaks 2 seconds earlier, he would have been able to spray down at least 2 of them there with the health they're on. But yeah, as I said, just a second or so too late. And that's an 11th on the board for the RLC. They've regained a 4-round lead after a brilliant end to the first half. And a bit of a slower start at the start of the second, but they've already started to bring things back. RDM, though, already on 31 points of health after a brilliant AWP shot through double doors. River himself takes some damage, but it's nothing too serious. Especially up against these pistols. It's still going to be 2 hits from a Deagle unless the 1D comes into fruition. Hello there, 1D, as I say it. Keeney, a gorgeous frag onto Fenris. And now the advantage. If it were any other pistol, I'd probably rule them out, but the Deagles are able to get so much done. Especially on a well-versed player. Pom Pom trades one back with the AWP. Flashbang coming over the top now, but RDM is going to get a freebie onto this AWP. Why would you send the AWP in first? That's not a very wise decision. And they've realised their foolishness and have headed towards B. It's going to be innovation on the Deagle. But Peaks on his own will get the first frag. Now the 3 versus 3 is in play. Post-plot into fruition. One player holding upper tunnels whilst the rest care on the bomb site. 2 full HP players, CTs here. They're going to be a nightmare to deal with for the RLC. Smoke's raining down as well. That's going to cut off a lot of information. Hill, that's a decent smoke to cut off site presence as well. Still a 3v3 for the time being, but the Davies reload has been heard. Keeney finds Davies, RDM finds Peaks, and the trade onto River will be enough for this round to be sealed by the Infantry. Did they have enough time here? They put the man without the defuse kit on the bomb first, but I think they have just about recovered things. A wise decision to swap the diffuser there. And Keeney with a 3k, RDM with a double. Keeping this game as close as they possibly can, as River going 22 in 13. Thank you for the confirmation there, Fresh OJ. It was indeed the RLC to beat Remy. And they lost, I believe, to the Signals. I could be wrong on that one. I do need to double check these facts. Apologies, I don't have them off the top of my head. Keeney, though, the B-site defender who goes unchecked, finds an easy double. Such a nuisance position to clear, especially when you're under fire from another player on the site or at double doors. And now the 2-man advantage for the Infantry makes things a struggle for the RLC here, especially as they've already lost 2 of their weapons. It's a good frag from Pom Pom, and it's going to be a nice Molotov from River. But are they going to check round the corner? Bomb is about to go down here, I'm predicting, and that it will. Hill finds Davies. Pom Pom trying to get something done in upper B here, but Innovation finds the bomb. River going for the swing, and just as Innovation looks away, he finds RDM instead, and he's going to find the double. River now on 8 HP, but he's done enough, or has he? Not quite, as Hill and Keeney find one each. Pom Pom on the AWP, not doing quite as well as we usually see him. The only man really standing out on the server for me today is River. 24 in 14, whilst Peaks goes 7 in 14. Less than a third of River's kills here. Davies, on the other hand, great performance from him. As I said, I criticised his performance previously, but he's had massive improvements, and that's evident to see. But lack of bush gunner is still an unfortunate problem for the RLC. Pom Pom, though, lovely entry onto RDM. 1 dig on a long, removing a player from play within an instant. But they only bag an MP9 for their troubles, unfortunately. Hill down very low, though. 1 HP left as he deals with Fenris. And no one is there to support or trade him. That's a huge blunder from the T side. And now they force their way back through double doors. River with another headshot onto Innovation. His deagle has been disgusting lately. Davies trying his best to deal some damage down long, but I believe he's only on a Glock, so I'm not entirely sure how that's going for him, and he's already dead. So it clearly didn't go to plan. River now going back to rejoin his teammates after being spotted down mid. And technically the T's have the advantage here. Hill is only on 1 point of health. If they go for a fast play towards A, they could have this round. Especially if Peaks pulls off a shot like that. Admittedly, it was the 1 HP player. But it was still a very key frag. RDM and Swede, though. Swift to deal with Peaks. Now the 2v2, and the advantage is back in the safe hands of the Infantry. River is going to see the head. Oh, the spray is atrocious, but he gets it done at the very end. Bomb plot now coming in as Swede pushes up from short. Pom Pom, will he have the read on this, or will he get gunned down by the AWP? And he will get dealt with using the latter version of things. Swedish has a monster game so far. Really impressive stuff. That's a crucial miss. A double miss, in fact. And that allows River to find a 3k of his own and polish off a 12 for the RLC. It's not going to be clean, but at least it's a round. And a round they so desperately needed. And here we have ourselves another 3-round lead for the RLC there. Certainly putting up a good fight for the Infantry on their map pick here, but vice versa is More than a reasonable statement. Infantry putting up one of their best performances to date. Second only to probably their Vertigo matchup against the Royal Artillery, who I might add have actually lost a map now. The Royal Artillery are no longer the only team without a loss. No team this season is going flawless, which is a testament to how much the players are improving with each season. Now a 5 versus 2 for the RLC. As RDM looks to aim at the head of his teammate. I thought that could have gone badly if he mistook him for a T. But thankfully the shot does not rattle off. And I've rambled a little bit more in this round as it was such a heavy advantage to the RLC that I thought the analysis would be a bit more fitting. And Peak's holding a great angle here. Does good damage short of an Eagle player, but now he needs to start running before the bomb takes him down. Interesting spam there. Isn't going to find anything though. And Peaks just about survives. And River going for more. River getting greedy, and that's costly. RDM doesn't quite have enough time to pick up the AK there, but he does remove a rifle from his opponent's hands. 13-9 now, another 4-round lead. And things are getting increasingly more difficult for the Infantry to manage. They force-bought into this round quite heavily. FAMAS and a weird lack of utility, you would have think. To delay some of this aggression, they would have invested more into their utility. They've gone for head armor instead, which is a foolish decision up against AKs and an AWP. River proving that as he gets his entry. Davies to follow up onto the head of innovation, no less. And the Molotov just about misses its mark as, unfortunately, the T's walk into each other as they aggress down long, but RDM eager to get out of there early so he can save his full Kevlar and helmet. Keeney and Swede, though, doubling up. And more trades follow. Swede is such a nuisance, finally removed by River. And Davies to patch things clean, but that was a very, very messy round from the RLC, to say the least. 14-9 to them now, though. They're 1 away from match point, and the Infantry are struggling. They started off very strong on the second half, but weren't able to continue that momentum, finding only 1 outside of their initial 2. But it will be a full buy here from the Infantry. P90 in tow as well, but the P90 is already gone as Fenris nets himself a wonderful headshot on the AK-47. Swede trading one back. And this is by far the best I've ever seen Swede play. The second half of Dust 2 here has been a monstrous performance from him. River removing Keeney from play. Now a 4 versus 3 situation. And River back for more, removing Swede, the most impactful player on the side of the Infantry. And this is looking like a strong, strong contender for penultimate round. Fenris is going to find the final player, and that's 15 on the board for the RLC to 9 of the Infantry on the Infantry's map pick nonetheless. And despite a bit of messiness going both ways, the RLC is just about coming out on top, and a 2.26 KD on River is absolutely stellar. Obviously, a force play coming in from the net, 6-round deficit. As the RLC are on their match point round. River already swinging out early, but Nate does a lot of team damage, I believe it was. No, I take it back. That was one from Keeney. And Keeney is able to deal with River, but not before 2 more frags come in from the RLC. But Keeney's on fire, finding Fenris as well. Jiggling around the boxes as RDM able to support his teammate. Down to 6 points of health, though. Peaks and Pom Pom still stand a chance in this round, especially now Pom Pom finds Keeney. RDM is so ridiculously low, and Pom Pom has a long on lockdown. The bomb just needs to retreat back towards the site. I don't know why Peaks is taking so long. RDM now finally coming in, and he looks like he's going for the full long flank here. Peaks able to hear one running in through CT, and he may take this as a sign to go towards B. Innovation, only on 6 kills this game. Pretty disappointing. I don't think I've said his name really at all. Hill, if he is probably drunkish, is doing fantastic compared to his previous performances. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all she wrote. Pom Pom with a triple in the final round. And Peaks finding the stellar finishing frag means it will be a 16-9 scoreline to the RLC. It was a very close game throughout the first half. And as we got into the second half, it was still, easy contention. But as I've just been informed, River is an RLC officer and is also a face at level 10. And, well, a face at level 10 standard is what we saw from him here today. A very swift mop-up of the infantry on his behalf. I believe he almost 30 bombed in the end. They're a stellar performance from him. But though the infantry have their really only attempt at a map win here today, snatched away from them early. As the infantry, not the infantry, my apologies, the RLC are renowned for putting up a strong fight on Inferno, which is, of course, their map pick. So yeah, this is going to be a testing series for the infantry here. And I admit, when I last called it would be an easy 2-0 for the RA, they came out and surprised me at great lengths in the second map. But it is different circumstances today. And I am going to have to call another 2-0 here. Infantry really struggling. That was one of their biggest chances to actually put their first map on the board. It was just about snatched away from them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back with you in about 5 to 10 minutes as we load the players onto the next iteration of the server, where we will be joining you on Inferno. I'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. See you in a moment.
together, these patterns we use. There's a fire that burns deep inside, an energy they found won't be denied. And I won't be here without you. No, I won't be here without you. Still won't be here without you. No, I won't be here without you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our second map of this best of three series. You are still watching the RLC versus the Infantry, and RLC are currently up one map. They take their opponent's map pick of Dust 2 in a very reasonable fashion. A 16-9 scoreline was the end result, and the Infantry yet to put a map on the board this entire season. As I said, they made it very, very close last week on Vertigo against the Royal Artillery, playing an unusually bad game from themselves. They just didn't look the same. But that is not to take away from the Infantry at all. They played an absolutely stellar game, and they took it all the way to 16-14. Can they do that again? But instead, in their favour this time on Inferno today against none other than the ROC, a very strong team on the map here. But see, I keep wanting to say Vertigo. Sorry, on the map of Inferno, which is, of course, our next map here. And this would be the first win of the season, as I keep reiterating, for the Infantry. They're currently 0-7 in maps, 0-3 in games. And if they don't win this one, they'll be 0-4. And that is almost beyond redemption there. That will automatically exclude them from the top three, and it will make it very, very difficult to hit top four, especially as they have to replay players on the teams of Royal Engineers, Royal Artillery, Royal Signals. So yeah, Infantry are having a very rough time of it this season. Remy was in a similar position in Season 2, but they've already defeated the Infantry, and I think it was only winning one map of the entire last season for Remy, or maybe a few more than that. I could be doing them dirty there. I believe it was only one or two maps they won in the entire season, and that's completely flipped on its head, and the Infantry have taken their spot in 6th place. And as I said, if they don't win this matchup here, they've almost just cemented it. And it's a shame because there are some very talented players on this Infantry roster. We've had Keeney showing up in spades. Swede last map, especially on that CT side, had a monster of a game. I believe it was 26 kills he ended up on, 24 or 26. Doing great with with every weapon really on that CT side especially. Wasn't quite as proficient on the T side. The AWP missing a couple of key shots, but otherwise he was a very, very key player. On the flip side, River is a monster. River, I have been informed, is an officer for the RLC who is also a face at level 10. He's clearly showing his worth here. Fantastic fragging from him. Great knowledge of the game. His game sense is, clearly there, and it's a good one at that. it's going to be incredibly difficult for the infantry to get anything in edgeways. As Inferno is one of those maps you get better on with experience, as you learn the smokes, as you learn where to push, where to default. And if you're a good entry fragger, like a solid aimer, solid entry fragger, taking banana control and taking brackets control as you swing around the corner with the assistance of a flashbang from your support or your IGL, you are going to be an unstoppable menace, especially at the level of play we have here in the Lions League Season 3. I'm a little bit worried for the infantry if you hadn't already made that out. I really do hope that they are able to put a map on the board for themselves, just for their own confidence, just so they can go home with a little bit of pride in their chests, rather than just having another close game or another unfortunate loss. And I have also been informed that the infantry have had a couple of roster changes. Obviously, they don't have probably Drunkish in the server today. I don't think him and Hill are the same person. So this is, I would like to say, to their advantage, as probably Drunkish was struggling, as he is a silver up against globals and face it level 10s, it would seem. But yeah, either way, his replacement of Hill, he's been doing well, but not well enough. And the same goes for the majority of the infantry side. Innovation had about 6-7 frags by the end of that game. Really disappointing stuff. That's even less than probably Drunkish did on Vertigo. I believe he ended it with 8. So, yeah, and I noticed myself at the end that I barely mentioned Innovation's name at all. I think I mentioned his name twice for good reasons. Otherwise, it was just silence from him. Radio silence across the board. So we're going to need to see up to the server here today. I missed. Fenris had a great game. Fenris, I'm assuming, is back in the IGLing role. I could be wrong on that front. It could be River for all we know. I will have to ask him afterwards. But Fenris showed up in spades as well. He had a 2 KD for the majority of the first half and a pretty good game all round. Some great holds, some great side takes. Across the board, the RLC, it was a bit of a jittery first half on their... Well, especially as some of those rounds got very, very close. They lost a few rounds that they had no business losing, and the same goes for the early rounds on the T side for them. But no, they played fantastically overall, and they only allowed the infantry 5 rounds on their T side and 4 rounds on the CT side, hence a score of 9 to finish up. And we will be getting into the server very shortly. I'm sure my producer from the skies above will let me know when all the players are ready in the server. We are just waiting for one more to the best of my knowledge. But yeah, either way, talking about Inferno once again, and I've already mentioned this, I'm going to talk about it a bit more in depth now since we are going on to Inferno here. But the infantry's utility usage, it looks like it is improving. In fact, it definitely is improving. But on a map like Inferno, where sometimes buying utility is more of a viable investment than buying a weapon, they are going to need some incredibly good utility strategies here, especially on the CT side for when trying to control banana, trying to control mid, being careful in apartments, and upon experiencing any lag on the stream, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, due to everyone being online at the moment, internet has been affected negatively over on the production and casting side of things. Sorry, apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that one was a problem on my end, but we are back here and we are into the pistol round, and it is the RLC with the man advantage so far, but Keeney doing his best to come back into this one. The post is doing great so far for the RLC, but RDM and Keeney trying to make that a very different story. Pom Pom finds one, has his back turned to the final remaining player. I think he's just trying to play time here. RDM doesn't have a defuse kit, and I don't think he's going to be able to find one either, so the defuse will come in just moments too late, and that's a great round on the board for the RLC. Well played there to run away on the side of Pom Pom, and yeah, there we have it. RDM unable to clutch that one out. Apologies again for, I believe it was my internet dropping out there. Hopefully we'll be able to get that sorted in just a moment, and hopefully that does not happen again. Either way, we are now heading into round number 2. And the RLC have taken the on their own map pick. A great start for them. Fenris and Pom Pom, though, down to 9 HP already. Brilliant utility usage from the Infantry. And that's something I mentioned that had to be strong coming in from them today. I'm glad to see it coming through. Swede finding Fenris early on, one of the 9 HP players removed from play within an instant. And now Pom Pom and Peaks. In fact, everyone, bar RBR, River, very, very low here. Hill and RDM gifted some frags as they run into the pistol stack here. River may just want to run away from this one. He's got an AK-47 up against a multitude of pistols, but he has found double. Camber level 10 clutch this one out for the Infantry here. He should eventually realize that there is a full stack on this bomb site. Although there will now be a rotation coming in. Innovation perhaps trying to go for the flank. They haven't realized that the bomb is on site, perhaps, even though RDM is very clearly staring right at it. Doesn't check the plant pot position, the boost spot that is so commonly an advantage for the CTs. And a really rough round from the RRC. Great utility from the Infantry. And it's clear why they didn't ban this one now. If they can keep up that play for the rest of the game, I have high hopes for this Infantry side. AK-47 saved over onto RDM as well. It's lovely to see that they will be netting themselves every advantage possible up against none other than the pistols of the RLC. Both grenades not landing. As a delayed play from the RLC comes in. Wise as to avoid these grenades down middle. They're clearly learning on the fly. And a very, very slow play from the Pistoliers here. Innovation holding down mid. Sees a player on the cross, but isn't going to be fast enough to react. RDM instead finds River and Innovation. Gifted one onto the bomb carrier. That will be Davies. Fenris disconnecting. As Pom Pom also falls. I believe we are going to be seeing a technical timeout here as Fenris dips from the server. Not entirely sure what the problem is there. Hopefully his new monitor isn't causing him any trouble. Obviously, I have no idea what the problem is here. That is just my prediction. There is a reason he bought a new monitor. He was having a lot of problems with the last one. But this is also a perfect opportunity for the RLC to discuss some strategies. Hopefully, that won't impact them too much with the lack of Fenris, who I am going to assume for the time being is the IGL for today, in place of Bush Gunner. Looks like a lovely chat going on between Keeney, Hill and RDM. Reminds me a bit of the Walter meme on the FaceTime call. Either way, enough of my endless pop culture references. Hopefully Fenris will be able to get back into the server relatively quickly. As I said, I'm not entirely sure what the problem is. And the CTs are looking pretty stacked at the moment. They've got decent money, so they will be able to buy up into the next round regardless. They've got an AWP in play, plenty of M4s. Whilst the RLC are going to struggle to even get upgraded pistols off everyone here. As Peaks is only on $2,400 despite the save coming through. They're going to have to do something miraculous here. And if my producer would be so kind as to switch over to the CT side where they're not throwing weapons up in the air, I'm sure it will spare all of our ears a little bit of hassle. But it seems that has come to an end. There we go. Lovely. Still be investing into a P250 here. And there's Deagles on Pom Pom and Davies. Again, it's not optimal, but having Fenris back in the server is definitely beneficial. Nobody likes to be a man down. And Fenris with his typical Tech 9 full Kevlar buy. And it will be a pistol force for the RLC here. Half buy, if you will. Everybody staying above 2k. And River staying above the 4k mark. I'm assuming he'll be the one dropping over the AWP, or if not, play it himself within the next couple of rounds. And we should be unpausing in just a moment. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. And the countdown begins to get back into play. 2-1 up for the Infantry on the CT side of their opponent's map pick. Can the RLC equalise on nothing more than the pistols? Or will it be the Infantry banking themselves an early 3-1 lead? All to play for so far. Fenris unfortunately on -1 kills now, as he was unable to attain one before he disconnected. Innovation playing passively in the boiler. Nobody pushing them, nobody giving them a free kill just yet. And it will be a slow, meticulous process from the pistols. I'm surprised I haven't seen Fenris burst out anywhere yet with that Tech 9. He's usually very, very good at finding an entry at speed with it. But no, just a very slow round, hoping that the CTs will give them some punishable aggression, but nothing so far. They're just biding their time in second middle. Finally, something comes into fruition. Smoke drops down on long, and Fenris rushes through the Molotov, finding RDM somehow. But it's Hill and Innovation to quickly clean up that mess. Fenris is going to be in CT for the time being, as River finds himself on the bomb site, but bomb is dropped top middle, so this will be an incredibly tall order if they want to find this round. Fenris swings onto Innovation, but it's not going to be enough. Health was too low. Headshot wasn't there, and Swede, a brilliant up frag over on towards the River. The buy can now come in from the RLC. We might be seeing a glass cannon AWP, or will we be seeing potential another save? No, Fenris flying up into this one. And it's Pom Pom on the scout rather than the AWP. And some gorgeous team damage early on towards Innovation. Means the RLC have a little bit more of an advantage going into this than they obviously did, despite the scout. And Innovation taking more damage from a Molotov thrown in towards Boiler. Great stuff, great utility. But Davies and River already down very, very low, thanks to counter utility from the CT side over on B. Great stuff from them. Swede boosting up onto flower pots once again. And really impressive utility usage from both sides so far in this round, but nobody swings off of those flashbangs. Wasting utility is quite often a problem on Inferno. And now a full rotation coming in as the Infantry have taken mid-control. Fenris swinging on in, gets taken down by a blinded AWPer. Swede finally up as River finally picks up RDM. Swede, what a frag through the boxes. Gonna find River. Hill unfortunately unable to find anything on boost, and he'll get swiftly taken down. Keeney with a Molotov in towards dark corner. Won't be forcing anybody out so far, but it's Bomb Bomb to find Innovation now in the 1v1. He's gonna find Keeney as well. 3 kills in the post plant, and what a great play from Pom Pom to keep the RLC in this game in the early stages. 0-5 in Fenris, 0-5 on Davies, 6-5 on River, 5-4 on Pom Pom, as Peaks goes 1-5. A huge, huge separation in fragging for the RLC here. We're going to need to see a lot more from the RLC on Fenris and Davies if we want to see a convincing win from them here like we saw on Dust 2. Obviously, Fenris has already netted himself a singular frag, but not a single one in a gun round. Admittedly, it was a great Tech 9 kill that he got, but he's going to need to find more than that, especially if he wants to keep investing worthwhilely? For his investments to be worthwhile, there's a better way of saying things. And now his solo play up top, Banana, isn't going to come into fruition either, as he falls off slowly. RDM instead finding Pom Pom, the hero of the previous round. A great mid-peak there, but Swede takes a lot of damage. Will they finish him off? They won't finish off Swede, but a stellar frag on towards Hill means that B bomb site is opened up. Swede above the smoke falls off the coffins. It's Spray comes through, does a bit of damage to Fen, but he won't be going down. Instead, Keeney finding Davies and Swede in the coffins. River is going to find a plant for reading situation. And there is enough utility to make something work here for the infantry, but Fenrir is trying his best to make that no longer a reality. Does Smoke giving away his position, and the footstep is heard by RDM, and that's enough for him to take the shot. He hits it as well. Really impressive from him. Now a 2v3 on this retake for the RLC. This would be such an important round for them to win. River finds a first. Keeney trading back. Very little time left on the clock now. All River needs to do is play time. And it's going to be very close. Keeney does not quite have enough time to get the job done. He's forced to fall away. He finds an AK for his troubles, barely escaping with his life. But it's a third on the board for the RLC, and the equalizer comes in. Davies dangerously close to James Bond, 007. As Peak's only 1 in 6. Fenrir is finding a double in that round, though. Some nice impact there. RDM, though, going 9 in 3. A very powerful and impactful AWPer. Finding a lot of sneaky frags as he peeks down middle. Some gutsy plays have certainly paid off from him so far, but unfortunately unable to help closing out the previous 2 rounds. Fenris, what are you doing, you madman? Running up mid with a scout. Goes for the wide peak as well. Doesn't quite land the shot, but it will be a stack of USPs on A as 2, including Keeney, not including Keeney. It's 2 more USPs rush down Banana. The only surviving rifle is going to be on the A bomb site, and RDM now knows this one in long. Peaks finds the entry onto Swede through a smoke. A great frank from him, and an important one at that, as that denies the flank. And Fenris is going to find Keeney, the only rifler, with the scout, and that's going to really put a spanner in the works for the infantry on the defense here. River finding innovation now, a 5 versus 2, and the pistols don't know what to do. Bomb plant comes in, and the only impact Davies has had so far is that bomb plant, unfortunately. Still going 0 and 6, but avoiding James Bonding for the time being. And there is going to be, it appears, some sort of retake attempt from Hill. Or at least some exit fragging potential, but he will swing round. And he's met by a couple of lead shots flying in his direction, and Davies backs himself an eco frag to put himself on the board. It will be RDM to find Peaks at the bottom of mid, but now he's going to be pushed from everywhere, looking for more. Not quite able to land these headshots. Does find Fenris, could escape and grab an AWP here, but he's not quite fast enough to get the job done, and the T's aren't quite fast enough to pick it up. It's a great round for the RLC, though. They don't lose too many players, and Fenris, I believe, was on a scout, not an AWP, so they're not going to be too bothered about losing that either. 10 in 6 now on River. Not quite as good as RDM, but certainly making a splash on the server. I've also heard that RDM is a former face at level 10. So these are the 2 Titans we need to be looking out for on the server today. Molotov coming on in early towards Boiler again. That denies a lot of aggression that we've seen so far. And there's no real push off the back of that either, so our players on the T side missing an opportunity for a frag in Boiler. And now molly it off once again, denying them then the ability to push out from it onto short. But Brackets control, I was about to say, has been given up. Keeney pushing back towards Diggity now. Or Shelter, as they call it on this side of the pond. In fact, it's not really a pond for Australia, is it? This side of the world. Still 5 for the time being as the clock slowly ticks its way down. Apologies for the lag on my end again, ladies. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is today. I do apologise for it nonetheless. One of our connections is bugging out, and that's in turn messing with the vMix call. But it will be a full buy for the RLC here against nothing more than pistols for the looking like a very, very convincing play, or a convincing round win from the RLC for that matter. Utility down mid to deny any pushes coming through. And Fenris spinning around the corner, entries onto Hill, looking for another one, but Swede on the USP finds a frag. River to trade for 3 versus 3, as RDM decapitates Davies with a gorgeous frag on the Deagle. Smoke grenade isn't going to land where it's intended, as unfortunately there's a little bit of over-aggression, and Peaks blocks the smoke from landing in the correct position. It will fade before any of the CTs attempt to retake anyway, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. And there was only a small gap in it. But the post plant is advantageous for the RLC, especially with that Molotov going down. That's forcing forcing Innovation down to a lower health count. As Keeney finds another on the USP, but Pom Pom and Peaks are quick to handle the situation. And now RDM is going to want to try and go for an exit rather than a retake here. He's holding steadfast on Banana with the AK-47. And he knows one of them needs to rotate off the site here, but he's not going to quite be able to catch him. Now he needs to run himself for fear. He goes down to the bomb. And that's a 6th on the board for the RLC on their T-side of their map pick. And the Infantry are starting to struggle once again. Double the rounds of their opponents. And things are looking good. Things are looking clean so far. Still only 1 frag on Davies and 3 on Peaks, but I'm sure that will change somewhat as we go along. RDM, a stellar entry there. Davies falling. Now 1 in 8. A similar principle to the 007. Peaks forced to wait by that Molotov. Isn't able to trade either. And RDM has been so formidable on that AWP so far. It's a great grenade to follow up. 30 points of health ripped away from Peaks. And now the man advantage for the Infantry, but Fenris quick to trade one back. He's now picked up the AWP for the team. An Innovation, having a better game so far than he did in the last. Gets wiped off for this round. RDM, another frag on towards Fenris. Sweet getting aggro. Does great damage to River and escapes with barely any damage done in return. He is just below half HP now, but Peaks now has none. Pom Pom on 100, but River only on 9. And I think the RLC will be looking to save this one. Pom Pom somehow in the backlines of A. But River soon to be removed by Keeney, or perhaps not. They haven't checked Boiler, but River's going to hear this for sure. Keeney is going to find Pom Pom, the only remaining full HP player. But River finds a double. There is now potential for catastrophe. If he finds this library player, this could all be said and done. He misses the... No, he hits the shot. Down to 15. River finds another. Now the 1v1 against Swede. Swede has been so powerful so far. And a River... 1 versus 4 clutch, ladies and gentlemen. What a stellar round from him. The Royal Logistics Corps had no business winning that one. The man's now going 16-7. Over a 2 KD. What is this madness? But yes, ladies and gents, apologies once again for a couple of tech issues in this stream. We have Virgin Media to blame for the most part. And River, down low again, but he's already proven that this man does not need a single point of health. Well, only a single point of health to get the job done. Just outstanding performance from him in the last round. A 1v4 of dreams, 9 HP to do it with, and he does get the job done. The timing worked out perfectly for him as well, peeking into library at just the right second as the bomb plant finishes within literal milliseconds of him being spotted. And now Hill has a lot to do on this B bomb site. He finds the first, finds the second, and Hill done a great service in this round. Fenris doubles up as well, but he's only on 6 HP. 2 versus 3 once again. Pom Pom can't afford to go down here, and Pom Pom instead finds a frag. Brilliant stuff from him. Swede watching the rear angle. Fenris, what are you doing? Shoot the man! Swede, unfortunate timing for him, stops watching the rear angle as Fenris swoops around the corner. Now a freebie bomb site as RDM creeps his way up banana. Fenris on 3 frags here, but Pom Pom will be planting directly for the orb swing, and he will find that shot. Unfortunately, hits Fenris instead, but he does not miss the second shot either. So many rounds that should not be winnable going in favor of the opposition. RLC, a stellar 1v4 from River, just completely undone by a stellar 1v2 from RDM. RDM back on top of the server again. 6-3-6 to 16-1-8. And a poor performance now in comparison from Innovation. Davies yet to properly show his colours. But Infantry at least attempting to keep this one competitive off the back of some hero plays here. Fenris again on that Tech 9, but unable to find the entry this time. Does do good damage, but he could potentially swing into a crossfire here. That would be rather detrimental to his situation. But he is the only Tech 9 player, and if he peeks now, he's going to see Keeney, but Keeney's ready for it. He gets the swing onto Fenris, and down Fen will go. Davies, a very important frag onto Swede there, one of the top performers for the Infantry side, as Hill trays, but Peaks follows back up straight away. Innovation firing away with the MP9, gives up his position and almost takes down an AWPer. But low HP on the majority of CT players may ward off this retake. I take that back. RDM is still firing spicy shots down towards this bomb site. Bomb has gone down. Molotov will delay, but Pom Pom finds Keeney now a 2 versus 2. One Coffins, one CT, and a lot to deal with. River barely surviving there. And RDM now flashbang in tow. Taps a diffuser, and Pom Pom swings on out, narrowly avoiding being shot himself with a jiggle. And RDM, I think he's done it with the nick of time. Again, these rounds are so incredibly close. RDM had no real business winning that one either, but good lord does he do it. The bomb tap is so intelligent from him. I can't believe he's won it. 7-5 to the RLC, but another rocky round. Davies only on 2, Peaks on 4, Pom Pom 8 no longer really enough as Fen and River lead the charge, River especially on 17. You can't take away from how impressive his performance has been. But now, we have 3 Tech 9s, a Deagle and a Mac-10 running into the apartments as Innovation is fed the first. Keeney with a triple spray down. Goodness gracious me, ladies and gentlemen. RDM following up with the Infantry bag a 6th on their CT side. RLC now only leading by 1 instead of the 4 they were leading by previously. And it's a similar story to what happened on Dust 2, bar the fact they started on CT side the last time around. Another gun round comes here in round number 14, the penultimate round of the half, but RDM does not care what kind of weapon you have. He's wiping you clean from the server regardless. Swede finds Fen, River does trade, but Keeney actually to take even more away from the already crippled RLC. A great smoke cautions River from regressing into brackets here. And a flashbang blinds him too. 4 versus 3 looking very promising for the Infantry for the time being. It's going to be such a hard-fought effort for the RLC here if they want to get anything done. And bearing in mind, this is the penultimate round of the half. They are going to want to say some weapons over, but that's not going to be allowed to happen as Innovation and Keeney find one each. All down to Peaks now. He's not been a particularly good fragger in this series. And again, aim just is not there. A pretty rough force buy for the last round from the RLC, and the Infantry could be looking to take the first proper in the entire series. An equalising round from the Infantry couldn't have come sooner. And an impressive way of getting it done as well. Now they just will need to avoid falling to the raggedy pistols, and the entry frag does them wonders. Davies still got 2,650 left in the bank in the final round. A very foolish decision from him. Fenris as well. Why not buy utility or a MAC-10 even? I do not know what they're trying to do to themselves here, but it's certainly not giving them any shred of advantage. A free B bomb site, though, and I don't know how this has been given up to the by the infantry. This could be the saving grace in the round for the RLC. Fenris already tucking 84 points of health on the man. Not really much utility left, and Peaks on 17 is going for a peek against all sensible advice. Fenris, the second most full HP player, will fall, and Davies gone as well. Now a 17 and a 1 HP player with less than admirable weaponry and armor have to fight off a 1v4 onslaught, and that's just not going to be able to happen. There we have it, folks. The end of the first half ends in a positive scoreline for the infantry. Very, very rare sight from them. Can they finally put a map on the board? 23-6 from RDM. The man is a monster. Keeney's 15-10, looking lackluster in comparison. But a very rough game from Davies and Peaks here. I know their ranks are considerably lower than their colleagues, but even so, 2 is disappointing, as is 5 after 15 rounds of play, and 8 on Pom Pom isn't helpful either. Innovation and Hill need to show up as well, but their teammates, especially RDM, are doing a stellar job of leading the charge, let's say. And a warranted execution of a chicken there. Will that come to bite them? USBs do have limited ammunition, after all, far less than their counterpart, the Glock. And a slower pace here from the infantry, keeping the RLC guessing. It will be a 3-man stack towards A, though, so they will need to check their corners. And Fenris will need to hit his shots, which is something he's failed to do, as is everyone else on the A bomb site. Finally takes one down with him. Entry's a pass. 4 versus 2 off the bat for the infantry, and things look rough for the RLC. As soon as I say that, though, Pop on with a crazy double. Almost a triple, but RDM chimes in, and RDM cleaned up. 2 for himself and a 9th on the board for the infantry. Nine was the total rounds that the infantry managed to garner themselves in the previous map. Will they be able to make any improvements on it in this one? RLC looking not to let that happen, but it is almost 100% going to be a 10th on the board here for the infantry, especially if Swede keeps hitting shots like that. Fenris removed instantly. No more scout for you. And it's just the pistols and a lone MP9 to try and get anything done here. I don't agree with this force buy at all. They've really screwed up their economy, especially if they don't win this very testing round. And now smoke's raining down onto the B bomb site, as it's all up to Pom Pom, and Pom Pom only good for 1 as Keeney trades him out quickly on the AK. Honestly, if I were to see struggling thus, but he does finish him off with a pistol. Great shot from him. And now River aggroing with that scout up banana, looking for another one, but he won't be gifted another opportunity here. 3 versus 3, but the infantry win their 10th 3-round advantage for them for the first time in a long, long time. And Swede! Oh, the headshot machine! Doubling up once again. River wanting to pick up an AK here before it gets blown away by the explosion. And that he will. At least there's something to come into fruition from this round, and that's an upgraded rifle. But the force buy was catastrophic. Bomb plant and a round for the infantry there. As they look to take their opponent's map pick and their first map of the entire tournament. Or league, my apologies, producer from the clouds. And I don't doubt them necessarily here. A weaker performance than expected from the RLC coming into the second half, but admittedly it is harder on the CT side without a regular lineup. No IGL to guide you through, but an MTA bomb site here could be the call. And this round will be over before it's even begun. Infantry just gifted another round on the board. $11 to the Infantry to the 7 of the RLC now, and Swede is a monster, finding Davies. He's so hungry for these frags, and he's going to find Pom Pom as well. Fenris rips a couple of shots off through the hand of RDM, but Innovation and Keeney in the backlines find everything they need to. Can River save the AK into the following round once again? No, he can't. Swede is hot on his heels, and a stellar 3K from him. Apologies for the issue that we've been having this stream, ladies and gents. I am seeing your comments. But as I said, this isn't entirely down to us. This is our internet providers. And with the pandemic taking its toll on internet speed, we are really seeing the brunt of it here today. RDM, though, does entry onto Davies. A quick trade by Pom Pom, and a needed one at that. Pom Pom sees one on the cross. Will he be ready for innovation? Yes, he will. Peeks around with the utility out. Excellent frag from him. Getting aggressive just when he needs to. 4 versus 3 now. And the RLC net themselves the first advantage in quite some time. So many silly mistakes costing them huge rounds. Finally attempting to make up for it. Bomb dropped on Banana as the Infantry continue to aggress up towards the lone defender of River. I know he's good, but he's not quite that good. Swede and Keeney both heading towards his location. RDM has since been removed. But either way, that's a very tall order for him to deal with. Finally, some support coming in from Peaks as River drops off. Flashbangs coming in, blinding the poor man. And that is not how I've ever seen that pop flash come through, but River makes it work regardless with a double. Oh, works for the RLC in the end as Pom Pom comes to help. An 8th round on the board for the RLC, and a much needed one at that before it spirals. $11-8 to the Infantry. And a good chance of more in this round for the RLC. Look at the overall lack of utility on the T side. Davies to entry onto innovation, and that's his 3rd frag of the entire game as we now get into round number 20. Very rough game from him so far. Needs to try and show up a little bit more. An impactful frag nevertheless, but he needs to net some more very soon. River, a beautiful grenade on towards RDM, and a shot through the smoke. He traces the bullets, finds the kill. 2-man advantage again to the RL, trying not to let this one slip away from them. Rounds could ultimately be the decider should a bunch of teams garner the same number of wins. And I'm thinking if they want to make top 3, they are going to need to find a 2-0 here. And River is going to need to find shots like that. Davies, though, there to pick up the pieces, but Swede with a double. He's such a powerful player today. 3 versus 1 for Swede to work his way out of, though. And it's not looking too promising. Pom Pom watching mid. Even though they know he is in mini pit and there's no way he can escape this. Pom Pom, a little bit of bait here. Needs to start moving up, trying to get something done. But Swede is trapped in the A-bomb site for now. But having said that, Peaks, what a headshot towards him. I thought he was going to rotate back through mid for a moment there. But the opportunity is all but denied. Peaks with the timing, Peaks with the angle. And Peaks with the frag. Davies and Peaks, though, still not even 10 kills between them. And they're really starting to let the side down here. This is when they're needed most. At an 11-9 scoreline to the opponents. This is a very, very close matchup. Far more than I said the Infantry have had in previous matchups, with the one exception of Vertigo, where they lost from a 14-11 scoreline. Neither team can be counted out so far as further trades come in, but Fenris now swooping into Netaman advantage, almost losing out to a Glock. 47 points of health left on the man. But the CT wrap comes in thick and fast. Bomb on the back of Innovation. Can Innovation deal with Pom Pom? And will Pom Pom turn around in the nick of time? Looks like he will. Readjusting the angle now to ensure he doesn't get beat from Coffins. And the timing on that with a gorgeous flick from the follow-up. Oh, and Jesus. RDM, what did you expect to have? Tries to B-hop through the smoke, but ends up just giving away himself and the AWP. That's a 10th on the board to the RLC, and a double-up setup comes into fruition now. This is going to be incredibly difficult for the Infantry to deal with. They had a strong CT side, but their T will now be hampered by this double-up. And also, again, a lack of utility for site takes. Very few Molotovs in play. And a lack of flashbangs, too. They really do make all the difference, but so does Swede's entry fragging. 18 and 15 for the man now. He's had a great game so far. As is RDM, still putting on a stellar show for us all at home. Hill, 9 and 15. Can he bang himself double digits in this round? He may well just be able to, as Peaks slowly makes his way down. Smoke goes down behind Hill, and that will actually allow him to fall off safely. An interesting decision there from the RLC. But Peaks now has half full control, and he sees the player, finds an easy frag. Equalizer coming in here. 4 versus 4, and it looks like the Infantry will be making their way down Banana towards a B-bomb site. Only one man to defend here. This is going to be challenging for him. He's hiding behind Fountain, playing this as carefully as he possibly can. Molotov's raining down, smokes to follow. Can he find the first? Yes, he can. Can he find another? That would be huge. He doesn't need to. Fenris finds one. Fenris finds two. Swede eventually trading out onto Peaks, but it's already a 3 versus 1 situation. Swede cannot be left to do everything. Mollying in towards CT as the bomb's already dropped on site. He knows there's a man behind the smoke on Coffins, and now that smoke is cleared. Swede stands very little chance in this round. An equalising round from the RLC, all but on the horizon. And the Infantry throw away a 4-round lead if this is what happens, and that it will. Davies finds another great frag from him. Fenris, what a play to save Peaks from certain death. Even when Peaks eventually does go down, the situation is already under control. So the equaliser can come in, and this time it's the money looking tragic on the Infantry side of things. This is such an important round for the RLC. They cannot lose out to pistols, but Swede determined already to make that a reality. Help now offered up in the apartments, but Swede finds another entry. He's looking for more, but it's only him instead. And oh my goodness gracious me, ladies and gentlemen, the RLC looking like they're going to lose to pistols. Only Pom Pom and Peaks left in the 2v3 clutch. And I must say, they're not the two people I particularly want for this situation. Pom Pom seems to enjoy watching mid far more than he does retaking. And Peaks has not had a good game so far. I'd say this round's said and done for the Infantry. And there's just about enough economy on the side of the CTs to buy up if they save this final 2-weapon duo. But even so, Glocks, P250s and a Deagle up against the full rifle utility buy, and still it's enough. Enough to make the knees tremble of any man who comes up against them as they instantly get the double entry on apartments. The over-aggression was so unnecessary. The AWP should have fallen off, and a peek should not have come through from the man on top of the staircase. Finally regain their lead. And a full investment round from both teams sim means a lot rests in the balance of its results. Early grenades, and Hill's down to 83, but nothing too significant done yet. Two CTs at the top of Banana, cut off behind a Molotov. Will now drop a smoke to delay, and Peaks follows up with another. As the counter utility rains on down. Nothing comes to light just yet. Fenris, though, is in a great position on top of Shelter. If they push him, he could find something huge here. Plays anti-flash to perfection, but Swede, my lord! What a swing from him. River to trade. 4v4, but things look great for the T side. As soon as I say that, Davies. Such an impactful frag from him. Almost nets another, but Keeney there to trade instead. River removed from play. Davies. Does he actually nail the reload that time? Because I remember he did get all the bullets into the magazine in the last. Davies finds one more, but it's Keeney to trade him right back out. Both T's are not looking good on health. But Swede, it does not matter for him. He's already found the frag. The infantry looking to gun rate catastrophic. Peaks with a nasty pre-fire, but it's unable to make any true connection. And on that bombshell, he runs off towards the B bomb site. 12 make that 13 and 11 now, as he will get chased by the two T's. And as soon as I say he'll get chased, my VMix snaps back into the correct moment and realise they are both going to be saving in T-spawn. That will be an AWP. Saved over for the RLC. And a rocky force bite to come up around it. I have just been informed that it was a great wallbang there from Swede to find Fenris standing top. Great bit of pre-firing from him there. I believe they got the info from the Ming swing mid. And that allowed near pinpoint precision to come through from the aggressing Swede. Swede clearly picturing the RLC as Norway in his mind here, and thus taking out the appropriate level of anger on them. 23 and 16 as RDM goes 29 and 13. Keeney on 21 as well, and lackluster from 3 side of the RLC. Davies, Peaks, and Pom Pom need to start showing up in a much greater capacity if they want to take Inferno here. The whole team isn't showing up in Inferno, then you are in a very dire strait from the start. But Pom Pom, an entry frag that they so desperately needed, will come through from him to start the round off. And now the 4 T's push up middle. Davies again unable to get anything done. Crosshair placement not quite admirable enough. And Keeney, a great shot onto Peak as he jumps onto balcony. Now the 4 versus 3 and Fenris unable to... Actually, I take that straight back. Fenris a great 5-7 frag as River finds another 2v2 situation, but River unable to find the AWPer. Pom Pom will come in now, and it's all down to Pom Pom once again. Molotov on towards the bomb, so it will clear out an angle at least. RDM's burning in the process. But the 2v1 is incredibly difficult here for Pom Pom. It's a good flashbang. Forces RDM off the angle on Pom Pom with a USP headshot. Pom Pom wins the round! If he can find the bomb, that is. He just about has enough time with no defuse kit. But what an incredible effort from him. Beautifully done. And that's an all-important 12th on the board for the RLC against, again, all reasonable odds. This entire game has been people winning up against unreasonable statistics. And now the Infantry only leading by 1. Their economy still good enough to reinvest into this one. Ash is out of the CT side, but it's not going to look great if either of these two teams lose the preceding round. Early utility plunge down banana once again, and a swing in from the T-side AWP won't come into fruition. Swede spamming down a bit himself, opts wisely to fall off against the AWP player. And for some reason, Grenade's doing no damage. But perhaps that is just CSGO at this point, as Pom opens up onto Swede, the mad aggro anti-Norwegian. Obviously not really. Grenade now coming in from Davies, and that will do significant damage to Innovation. And Innovation will fall to River as well. River with a double. River not quite with a triple, but he puts in his best effort, and RDM has a lot to do. Fenris hiding close corner, picks him off, and now a 13-13 equalizer. Infantry slowly allowing this game to slip away from them. This would, as I said, be their first map win of the entire tournament. Their first out of 8 maps played so far. But the RSC is still going strong. 23-1 on Fenris, 29-19 on River, and 19-16 on Pom as Peaks and Davies still struggling massively. Oh my goodness me! Peaks with a 2K spray down, River with a Molotov, River with a double! Oh good lord, what just happened? I didn't see a single snippet of what just happened there. And now 14-13 to the RLC. On their map pick at that, but I expected it to be a lot more of a convincing one from them. I know Bushgun has gone, that is their IGL, but even so, the face at level 10 more than makes up for the stratagem. RDM, though, that is such a free kill. I don't know why he keeps jiggling. He hadn't been seen. Pom will get denied by a Molotov here. Sorry, will deny with a Molotov on towards Innovation. And Innovation's still having a very rough game. A .33 KD, I believe it is. As the flashbang comes over towards Bracket, Fenris falling off just in the nick of time, and they swap his roll out for the AWP. Fenris seen above the smoke, but not quite on time as he finds Innovation. And now only one more round needed for match point and 2 for the win, allowing them to run away with a 2-0 scoreline on the RLC side. But the grenade coming in towards Brackets, will it do anything? No, it won't. And instead it's Pom to be removed by the server by Swede. And Keeney as well. Again, the Infantry look to equalise, and they have to manage to get the job done. And AWP running in through T-spawn is going to be missed by River, and that's a rare miss from him. Flashbang over the top. Bikini finds Davies. 2 versus 4. Now another missed shot from both of the AWPers. This is a frantic massacre of misses. And when I say massacre, not of players, but just of their morale, of their aim. Swede finding River. Meaning it's all down to Peaks, who again is opting to save early. Hide in spawn. And the spray down is atrocious as RDM wipes him clean from the server. It's been a long best of 3 series already, especially here on Inferno, but now the rounds are more important than ever. If either team wants to win this one in regulation, they need to bag the next. So far, so good for both teams. No one over aggressors giving up any freebie kills. Good Brackets utility as well to follow up. And the 5v5 continues with a minute 30 left on the clock. Swede again, what a madman, finds Pom. Grenades flying over the top here. And the man advantage lies heavily with the Infantry. Will they be able to close this out in regulation? 16-14 on their opponent's map pick. Or will we be seeing reverse? And every single one of them rotates off of the B-bomb site into the open arms of Fenris, who sticks a reload but is swiftly dealt with by the MAC-10. He had plenty of ammo to continue that fight, but he opts instead to go for the repeat. Great shot there from River. Now the 2 versus 3, and the T's decide to dart it back towards the B-bomb site, which is where the stack will ultimately lie. Grenades about to rain on in. as the 2v3 begins. Peaks hiding in new boxes, waiting as patiently as he can, as Keeney instead opts to run down towards the A-bomb site. Flashbang over the top. River hot on the heels of those, both on the A-bomb site now. And this plant is incredibly open. It can be spotted by Long. And River, if he has anything to do here, will be looking to find that frag, regardless of where Keeney is positioned. Keeney, great entry onto Davies. Flashbang comes on in, but Keeney isn't blinded. It really is a 1v1 for the time being. Keeney still struggling to deal with Raven as the grenade comes in now. Isn't going to do anything to Keeney, but River's headshot certainly will. He has a defuse kit in tow, and that's a 15th on the board, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very close ordeal indeed. One round in it. Can the RLC take this in regulation like the RA did last week? Or will it be the Infantry equalising and seeing us into an overtime? They have a weaker buy on the side of the Infantry, but it's still all to play for here at Lions League Season 3. Pom-Pom gets full blinded as he swings on into mid. And that will deny him an early frag. No advantages for the RLC to start off with. Peaks jumping over half wall, seeing if he can spot anything at all. Molotov to follow up. The RDM opting to fall off of that position now. As it's still a 5 versus 5. Everybody forcing everything they can into this one. And still innovation on a MAC-10, but he has been doing great work with this so far. But Pom-Pom through the smoke. The top performer bar RDM for the Infantry, and that is a tragic man to lose on the entry. 26 and 21 for Swede. Will that be his final score? Or will they continue into overtime? Hill instantly removes Fenris, and he was one of the top performers for the RLC on the flip side. 26 and 24. River now falling off the top of the oranges. Flashbang over the top, but it's Keeney to get the job done now. 4v3 for the Infantry. The retake needs to come in. It needs to come in now. They've got bits and pieces of utility to throw on in. Pom-Pom gifted a second chance of finding the AWP there, but does not capitalize, and that could be the end of things. Firing on through the boxes, does not land the shot, and now smoke's raining down from everywhere. This gives the Heaties a little bit of time to push up, but Keeney finds Peaks. He's running through coffins. A fat grenade takes him down to a very low, half HP, my apologies. And Davies runs on through the man to get everything done, but he will fall, and we're going to our first overtime of the season, I believe. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 all, and it is indeed our first overtime of the season. This is the RLC's map pick, and they're going to be kicking themselves that they've let it slip so far from their hands. River, 35 frags, as is RDM as we go in towards overtime. RDM still top fragging the server. Pom-Pom on 20, Fenris on 26, Keeney on 28, I might add. As he backs himself plenty in that last round of regulation, and it will be the RLC starting on their CT side as we go into the first half of overtime. Current score is 1-0 to the RLC, and a 15-15 scoreline on the second map here. Fenris already opening up onto innovation, a very key frag to find. Pom-Pom to find Swede. 5 versus 3 situation very early on here for the RLC as RDM swings out in towards middle. Nobody there to spot him, and it's now a 3 versus 3 as they head towards the A-bomb site. RDM finds Fenris. RDM has been huge so far. He's clearly been practicing in between these series. This is one of the best performances we've ever seen from the man. I've heard he's a former face at level 10, and this is the first time I've finally been able to see it to confirm it with my own eyes. Pom-Pom, though, trading onto RDM. Now a 4 versus 2 situation for the Infantry to riddle their way out of. And Keeney doesn't check the off angle. Peaks as well. Almost finding Hill, but Hill survives. Not for much longer as Davies swings in from the back lines and finally adds another kill to his total. He's on 11 in overtime as his Peaks. A tragic scoreline if I ever saw one, but nevertheless, as long as they can find these impact frags, it's effectively 1-0 to the RLC here. Very, very close. Almost all the way through. However, the 4-round advantages were whittled down very quickly by both teams. And now Hill burning alive in a Molotov as Banana looks like madness. It's Banana Rama on the B-bomb site entry. Can the choke point be defended here, or will it be the Infantry to take the B-bomb site as they all start hammering their way down? RDM kills Pom Pom once again. Pom Pom needs to learn how to jiggle peek, my man. Still doing reasonably well. Bikini, what a shot! Good lord! Full blinded onto a falling player. That was madness. Peaks now needs to go here and find one here. Yes, he can. But it will be 3 versus 2 as damage onto the second player is less than admirable. Fenris sees one, sprays too early though and gives up his position. Eventually picks up the frag, picks up a double. Can he find the triple? All down to RDM on the AWP now. He's being pushed. What are you doing, Davies? Why would you have a grenade in your hand there? And now running off into CT will be RDM. He flashes himself in. Fenris full blinded, does a bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. Fenris needs to start this defuse now. He's going to tap the bomb, and this time he's holding it. Oh, but Fenris has got enough of the bomb. What is he doing? He could have won it then and there. RDM now swinging in from the other direction, and it's going to be this score of 16 all as RDM finds the final frag. Fenris, why did you get off the bomb? I can't believe you've done this. Such a tragic mistake from him. And now an equalizer in overtime. This is so tense. Literally a matter of a second in that round, and it would have been the RLCs. Just hold the bomb, hold the line, Fenris, and that round is all you again for the lags in our game. Isn't it really struggling here in the during the pandemic? But an entry onto Innovation gives the RLC another advantage. Peaks holding a bit of a one-way here on Banana. And now lining up some utility. 5 versus 4 situation now. Fenris biding his time in the off angle of Graveyard Stairs. As it looks like the Infantry are going to try and end up towards this A-bomb site here. Swede watching balcony. No one giving themselves up to him. 26 and 23, a very admirable score and far better than we saw him on Vertigo. But it's Pom Pom to sneak away with a frag onto the top fragger of RDM. And that jeopardizes the Infantry's round prospects even further. Grenade onto Hill, down to 62 himself. Davies the only man with any health lost so far, but Pom Pom easily removed. Keedy doubles up. Fenris only good for 1 on the trade. Still a man advantage, but Peak swings wide. And although Fenris has gone down, here 8 points of health in the 1v2. They just need to play this one together. But with the bomb, he's going all the way towards B, and it looks like he will have enough time. He's being pursued, it would seem. But River needs to pick up the pace and pick it up swiftly. There's just enough time, is there? There's not enough time. He's fluffed it. He's gone all the way round to B for nothing, and the round is saved by the clock and River's final frag. He only finds 1 frag in that entirety of overtime, though. River had 2 frags, sorry. He had 34 or 35 going into overtime. But a less than admirable performance from River there, despite what we saw of him coming into it from regulation. RDM, still a monster performance from him. We're starting to see multiple 30 bombs coming through. But still, lackluster performance from the bottom 2 players on each of the teams. Not even 15 kills on any of them yet, despite the fact we're in round number 34. That's about a 0.45 KPR, a very dismal raid, but Fenris doubles up. RDM only good for 1 as Fenris finds the double. And this is looking like a very promising T-side round for the RLC. They're desperate to find their own map pick. And the bomb will be planted shortly as Pom Pom comes on in. Default plant as always. Molotov misses the mark. Has us the grenade. Now a 4 versus 3. Retake going to be very, very challenging for the Infantry. Pom Pom hiding in dark corner as Innovation tries to push in through coffins. Is he going to get caught out by the man behind the sandbags? It could well be the case. Peaks has got this perfectly well done. If he hears a single bullet coming from Coffins, he'll swing on round, but it's not going to matter too much as River and Fenris get everything done. Fenris with a triple, River with a double, and it's 18 to the RLC. They need one more round here, and then they've done it. They've taken their map pick. It wouldn't have been easy. It wouldn't have been clean, but at least it will have been their map pick and a 2 over them. As I said, every single map matters here. And if they can come at the game like they did in that previous round, they're on for a stellar run. Unfortunately, Swede late off the mark, and Keeney doesn't buy as much utility as he possibly could have done. Neither does Hill, and that could cost him. Hill peeking out into Banana, doesn't take any damage, but RDM certainly does. Down to 41 health already. 18-16 is the scoreline now. Smoke's raining down onto this B bomb site. It looks like this could be where they're finishing up. It's going to be a 3 versus 2 already as Innovation swings out of balcony into mid. Fenris on the lurk. That's the best lurking we've seen all game. And Fenris a key frag onto Innovation as it continues towards B. Fenris continues to draw fire towards the A bomb site. It will be a 3 versus 2 if they move now towards the B. But they're biding their time. They're playing this one so slowly. River finally peeking out now. I believe this one boosted up. That there will be Hill and Swede with the gods here. Crossfire. And Hill both finding a frag each. Now spinning the round in their favor. They're not going to check boost. Peaks finally trades, but it's all down to Pom Pom now. Doesn't know where the last man is. It's the USB to come out on top for Swede. Oh my goodness gracious me. Ladies and gents, 18-17 is the scoreline now. RLC need one more round to take this game in overtime, but RDM and the rest are determined to not let that happen. The man is on 41 frags. That's over 10 more than Keeney, the next in line. This is absolutely incredible stuff. Infantry just need one more round for a double overtime, though. Both teams have so much on the line here. This round means everything. Can the RLC close out their own map pick? I thought they had it in the bag after the perfect lurk from Fenris, but then they run into the bomb site blind like headless chickens. No trade potential, in fact. Fenris almost getting spammed down through the door, but luckily escaped with little damage there. Smoke grenade coming down as well. That will block him off for the time being, and he could get swung here. Famas looking hungry for the pick, but Innovation bides his time carefully. Still only 11 frags on the board for this man in round number 36. That's something they're going to need to work on in the future. The pace still very crazy as we make it into overtime. The final round of the second half of the first. I don't even know what's happening. Peaks a great entry onto Swede. Another of the top performers removed from the infantry early on. Second half of the first overtime. Thank you very much, Director in the Sky. Peaks finds another entry frag. Keeney does trade on Fenris. That's a lurker removed, but there's still one lurker left. Can Keeney find that one as well? No, it will be River to find Keeney. A headshot through the wall. Now a 2 versus 4 situation. They need to retake this one, and they need to retake it now. But OEM's going to fall to Peaks. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this might be it. Innovation only on 11 frags this game is thrust into a 1 versus 4 retake situation. River in the back lines on the retake. There's 3 stars, great chip damage, and it's going to be River on the flank with 18 points of health. 2 kills in the round with Peaks on 3 to find the final round needed. Goodness gracious me, ladies and gentlemen, what an overtime. 19-17, it was so close. 6 players in that server playing the game of their lives. What an incredible scene we got to witness. But now, my game over and my voice is slowly fading. Apologies again for the technical issues that we unfortunately had to bear through this game, but hopefully the quality of that overtime was enough to make up for it. What a stellar performance there from none other than the Infantry. Again, so unlucky. So close. This time they don't make it 16-14, they make it 19-17. Arguably an even affair as they take it into overtime. But there we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, going up the maps 0-4 for games. That excludes them completely from the top 3 for the rest of the season. And I believe that put in a near permanent last place unless they can pick up 2 maps. And that's on the condition that Remy and the RLC don't pick up any more themselves, which I believe is unlikely. Actually, because Remy and the RLC need to play each other once more. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. It was quite the intense best of 3 series, and Infantry are just pipped to the post again on map. It was a fair performance from the RLC on Dust 2, but they let them on their own map pick, and obviously the lack of an IGL in Bush Gunner won't done them any favor on an execute-based map like Inferno. The utility was good, but it certainly could have been better, and it was noticeable that there weren't as many proper strategies called in terms of utility execute, and I am going to attribute that again to the fact that Bush Gunner was absent for today. Either way, I won't keep you all too much longer. Thank you so much for coming to another RLC Infantry matchup. And the current standings in the Lions League are Royal Signals lead the charge with 3 wins and 1 loss. Royal Artillery and Royal Engineers are tied in second, now with the RLC joining them, all with 2 wins and 1 loss. So the RLC, after this win and the fact that they do win 2-0, have put themselves into a fantastic position here. They are technically second place on Maps 1 here. But Remy now are in 5th place and the Infantry stuck on 6th. That is our final standings for CSGO for the time being. Don't go anywhere, as we will be back with some more action tomorrow. I believe tomorrow is going to be League of Legends. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tomorrow will be a League of Legends matchup. That'll be won by Squidge and the good guys over in the league department. But yes, thank you again all for coming. That's all from us tonight. Congratulations once again to the RLC on a fantastic 2-0. GG's to everybody and good night.
We've been apart. You're the only one on my mind, Since we've been apart, you're the only thing on my mind.